All right, let's roast some Forerunners, shall we? What's up, everybody? Canadian Meathead here, and real quick before we get started, we just hit 20,000 subscribers on the channel this morning, so thank you for following along. You guys rock, and be prepared for a lot more content still to come. Now, most of you are already familiar with what Roast My Runner is and how it works. For those of you that are new here, basically people send in their submissions of their Toyota 4Runners of all generations, and I rate them out of 10 and share them with you once a month or so. And on that note, guys, just a reminder, if you are going to submit your 4Runner, make sure you're emailing them. I've had a few Instagram DMs and stuff. It's not how this works. You got to email them to me right here somewhere, roast@canadiangearhead.com. So kicking it off with Aiden here, and unfortunately I only have one picture to go from, but this thing looks pretty wild. So there's obviously some serious work done to this thing. I'm not sure what the suspension setup is. These look like big tires, at least 35s, some kind of polished wheels. Looks like actual bead locks on it. His bumper fell off, which sucks. It almost looks intentional because, I don't know, are these turn signals, these like LED bars under here, or is this just like a weird reflection in the picture? I don't know. This is an earlier model 4th gen, so I believe the turn signals were in the bumper on these. So probably a safe bet that that's what these LEDs are for. We got some ditch lights. Looks like is it a Sherpa roof rack? I think so. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a Sherpa with a storage compartment up top for all of his extra treats and snacks in case he gets hungry on the trails. We got the Heritage grill on the front. Very nice. Aiden hasn't really given me a whole lot to work with here, but because it does look like it's got a pretty serious setup, I'm going to give this one a 8 out of 10. Wish I had more pictures of it, more angles to see what else is going on with it. Up next, we've got Anthony. I'm not sure what there is to look at from the back here. It looks fairly OEM looking. Obviously, it's lifted. The stance looks, I guess, kind of similar to mine. I'm not sure what the suspension setup is, but it's got like a little bit of factory rake still. Okay, my theory about that is I think a leveled 4Runner looks better, especially when it's just parked. But something that's going to be used for camping or towing or whatever, as soon as you start loading weight on them, suddenly your leveled 4Runner turns into the Carolina Squad or whatever they call it. So I think these kind of factory rake setups like mine are a little bit more functional because it gives you a little bit of room to give when you load it down and it still rides level then. It just doesn't look the greatest when it's not loaded down, but that's the trade-off. So anyways, there's a front picture. I can actually kind of see what's going on here. It looks like it's a Sport Edition. We've got the original Sport Edition wheels on it. We got the hood scoop. It basically looks like a stock Sport Edition with a lift on it and bigger tires. But there's something to be said for keeping it simple like this. And I think that's one of the great things about these 4th gen 4Runners. They really don't need much work to make them A, functional, and 2, cool. So I can't give you a huge rating for this one because it just doesn't have a whole lot going on, but it's nice. Looks like it's a V6 model maybe as well. I don't see a V8 badge on the grill unless you took it off. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a 6.5 out of 10. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but just because there's not really a whole lot done to it. But I'm sure it's a great rig. I already feel like I'm being too nice. Am I being too nice? Am I being too Canadian? Moving on to Dan, and we've got a few pictures of Dan's 4Runner here. Ooh, we got a grill guard up front here. Well, you guys know, I'm not a fan of these kind of like bumper guards. I think they look weird. This one's got a winch on it, but I really hope it's not mounted to that. You know what, like on second thought, this might be more of like a push bar. This looks like sturdier than the typical grill guards that are like made out of tin can metal. He's got a winch, so I mean, you can't knock him for that. Winches are automatically good. And he's got some lighting on there too, so it serves a purpose. I just don't like the look of it, but I mean, it's going to protect your front end, I guess, somewhat. If this is a sturdier version, it looks more like a cop style push bar than a grill guard, so I stand corrected. But let's see what else is going on with this thing. We've got some 5th gen TRD Pro wheels on it, which look great. You guys already know my opinion about that. Love them on the 4th gens. I didn't even realize that this is a Sport Edition as well, so it does have the hood scoop up top. And it's got the Sport Edition steps on the side and the different roof rack up top. Still not a fan of the steps. I think all of the OEM steps suck. I think if you need something to step on, maybe some decent rock sliders like with some kickouts or something are a better option. The roof rack though, I think the Sport Edition roof rack is kind of decent. I think adding a basket to it like what he's done here, again, it's not like my first choice. I would prefer like an aftermarket roof rack, but he's using it to mount his lighting and he's got an awning on the one side, so it's doing the job for him, I guess. And we got the rear shot. Oh, he definitely wants to protect his headlights and taillights at all costs. because we've got the taillight guards on it, which, what in the 1992 Pep Boys have we got going on here? It's personal preference, right? It's not my thing. I'm not going to knock you too bad for it because, you know, maybe you've smashed a taillight before on the trail and you're like, hey man, that ain't happening to me again, not this guy. So I'll give you that. Oh crap, what have we got going on? Okay. We got TRD stickers on the door handles. I don't know what to say about that. I think it's gonna rub off the more you grab it with your hand too. So that's a choice, and that's about all I can say about that. We got a rear tire carrier that it's one of those trailer hitch ones that the ones that I've seen, they always wiggle around when you're hitting bumps and stuff. They look kind of goofy, and I'm not sure what size tires they are. They don't look like super aggressive, and I would question, like, could you not fit one of those tires in your factory location? One less thing to move out of the way when you're getting into your hatch to get gear and stuff out, I guess. But it's possible because these are sort of a more mild tread design on these tires. These might be like 285s or something, and if that's the case, it is hard to fit a 285 in that location. So then I understand. Dan, I'm gonna give you, man, you're gaining some points. I do like your suspension setup. I love your wheels. And then you're going to lose some points for the silly stickers and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you a 6 3/4 out of 10. Well, now we got Eric here. And once my computer figures itself out. Okay, here we go. Eric's got himself a nice light blue 4th gen here. And we got a lot of choices with this one, I guess you could say. So for starters, we've got the replica newer TRD Pro wheels. I believe these are knockoffs of the new, obviously not the 4th gen Tacoma, but the 3rd gen TRD Pro Tacomas, I think. I prefer the 4Runner TRD Pro wheels, but these aren't bad. We got a heritage grille on this one as well, which I like. You're gonna score points for that. Definitely makes it more modern looking up front, and it still looks fairly clean and classy, so I'm a fan of that. The Raptor lights, you guys know how I feel about Raptor lights. I'm all over them. I had them on mine, so before you guys freak out like, oh, you had Raptor lights on yours. Yeah, I had them on mine. I took them off though. It's just, there's a little bit too much going on here. We've got the bull bar, and this is one of the flimsy bull bars, so I don't know. I've seen these things in accidents and stuff, and a lot of times they cause more damage than they save you from. So the Jay Leno chin is gonna cost you some points, I'm afraid. We've got the kind of, what is it, like the vintage sort of Toyota graphics on the door. I think what he's trying to do here is tie in the bronze wheels with the kind of the color scheme and make it look like it's a little bit more intentional, and I get that. Maybe I'm just not a fan of browns and bronzes or something, I don't know. But I think I do like the bronze wheels on this color of blue. I think what he's trying to flex on here is the 20.4 miles per gallon. And because of his grille, I can't really tell if this is a V8 or a V6 model. But it doesn't matter because that's called the factory lyometer for a reason. It means nothing, especially if you're running a different size tire. Well, you gotta hand calculate your mileage and then you can brag to me. And that doesn't mean that I don't believe you're getting 20 miles per gallon. I think it's totally possible with V6s for sure, but maybe even V8s. And as a matter of fact, that might be kind of an interesting video idea for me for the future. Seeing what I can do to try and hit 20 miles per gallon with my 4Runner here. He's towing a boat, and it's kind of a cool looking setup actually, like a smaller boat like that. So I'll give you credit for using it as a tow rig, and I think, should we be calling you captain now? Are you a captain? I want a boat. To be honest, I'm jealous. I wish I had a boat. Before and afters of the lift here. I'm trying to remember, I think he did tell me in his email what his suspension setup is, but I'm too stupid and I've got like 20 submissions that I have to run through right now. So it definitely made a difference in terms of his ride height, and he went from soccer mom to super cool guy here. Looks good. What? Is that like a scannable barcode sticker on the back? I don't know what the deal is with that, but I want to try and scan it. Can I scan it? It won't work. I don't know what's on the hatch, but it's some kind of an important message, I guess. It looks decent. The styling choices are maybe not my thing, so I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. All right, next up we've got Jackson. And Jackson's got an old man beige 4th gen here, and it looks like it's an SR5. Nothing wrong with that. I think Toyota trucks are one of the vehicles out there that getting a lower model version of them is not necessarily a bad thing, because part of the charm of Toyota trucks is their simplicity. So, you know, some of maybe the American brands, if you get a lower end model, it's a little bit more like poverty spec and people kind of look down on you. Toyotas, you can't help but love them, whether they're top of the line limited models or TRD Pros or they're SR5s or base grades, whatever you want to go with. I think they're all great. So this one, we've got a decent sized tire on here too. I think these are 16-inch wheels on these SR5. We got another basket up top on the roof here. You guys love your baskets. Oh, okay, he's got some lighting mounted up here now. Okay, so this has been modified since we saw it in the last picture. We got the American flag on the door, just in case people are wondering where they are, I guess, when they see you driving. We got some Christmas lights in the grill because those are definitely not Raptor lights. There's 4 of them. I don't know what that is. Aftermarket headlights with the sort of like the LED bar on them. Those are, I don't know, sometimes I see them and I like them. Sometimes I'm not a fan. I'm not really sure how I feel about them here. But I have to say, there's something about the stance of this thing, whether it's the ride height, the tire size, the fact that it's on 16s instead of 17s or 18s, it just looks really tough. It just looks real beefy, and I really like that, I have to say. I really like that. Oh, he's wheeling it. Okay, he's wheeling the crap out of it. He's getting her dirty. We got some Max Tracks mounted up top here. Oh, did I miss the grill guard up front? But this one, again, this one kind of almost looks like a push bar, and he's got a winch mounted. I guess that's behind the factory bumper. He's got a winch mounted, and then the grill guard is kind of over top, and then we've got some auxiliary lighting on the grill guard. So you know you're using it for something other than looks. We painted the front bumper black now at this point, so we're just doing whatever we can to make it look like we've got an aftermarket front bumper while maintaining the factory plastic one. We've got the Australian windshield cables here to keep the branches off the windshield, which, you know, I think they look kind of silly, but I also have a gigantic crack in my windshield, so who am I to talk, right? Oh, crap. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so they've parked it on its roof. Okay, so now I remember the story behind this one. He was building it up and everything was going great. He flipped it. I think it was like snowy or something in an area that they're not really used to driving on slippery roads, and put it on its roof. And I think they bought it back from the insurance company and turned it into like a dedicated off-road rig. This is proof that Toyota trucks just don't die. You just use them differently after they get messed up. So you can see she's all dented up and she's got some pieces missing, but he's back out on the trails wheeling it again. And that is really cool. I got a lot of respect for that. Way to not give up on a good rig. I think that's really cool to see. Look at the dents on the side. You know, we didn't quite drive it till the wheels fell off, but the fender flares sure did. So, very cool. And now the doors fell off. Okay, so this is just, we got a really bad string of luck here for this poor 4Runner. It's cool. You want to turn a 4Runner into a Jeep Wrangler? I think, you know, the 4Runner itself, I think, is maybe nothing super crazy to me. The story behind it and the perseverance of just not giving up on this thing is definitely going to score you some points. So because of that, I'm going to give you an 8 out of 10. Way to stick with it, way to save it, and way to bring it back from the dead, only to what it seems like you just continue to try and kill it more. All right, up next we've got Jordan. This one looks familiar. Did we already see this one on an earlier episode of Roast My Runner? I think this might be a duplicate. If not, somebody else has made a Cavalry Blue 4th gen. We've got the aftermarket smoked taillights back here. Now, I am not a fan of tinted taillights whatsoever. I think it's the stupidest thing that you can do, trying to get yourself rear-ended. However, before you freak out on me, I understand these are aftermarket and they're LED and it's a smoked look, but they're still just as bright, if not brighter, than factory lights. So that doesn't count for these. These are cool. We got a TRD Pro grill with Raptor lights. Okay. The grill's cool. I think if you're gonna wrap the whole 4Runner, I think wrapping parts of that grill to match the body would be a pretty good choice. I'm not sure how you would do it. Maybe just this bottom bar, maybe you would color match that, I think would be kind of cool. Yeah, we got black housing headlights, which I do like them as long as they're done properly, and this looks pretty good. We got a couple scars and bruises on the front bumper here. What can you do? That's life for you. Yeah, so we've got the sport hood, the hood scoop. I like that. I like the color change on this. I think that's, you don't see a whole lot of that on these 4Runners of people changing colors, whether they're vinyl wrapping them or painting them, whatever. We've got TRD Pro wheels on here, but they're black, so you can't really see them too much in the shade like this. It looks like decent suspension setup. I can't quite see what's in there, but there's some kind of a logo on it, so it's not just spacers, I don't think. And he's off wheeling. That's a kind of a cool looking picture. I do believe we've seen this before. I can't remember what I rated it last time, but it does look good, so I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, next up we got Kieran. Okay, so this looks like it's probably a before shot. This is back when it was stock, I'm assuming. And then this is what he has turned it into, which it looks like from this angle we got some beefy tires. We've got quite a bit of LED lighting in the bumper here. Aftermarket black housing headlights. Again, I'm just not sure how I feel about these. I think with like the halos and stuff on them, I think it's just a little bit too much for me. Oh, we got the rock lights. Some of you guys were giving me a hard time for not liking rock lights. Listen, if it's a rock crawler and you're doing it at night, I get it. Or any kind of wheeling at night, really. And somebody else also mentioned that it comes in really handy if you are a hardcore wheeler and you break an axle or you need to swap a tire or something. Whoever said that, you're right. I agree with you. I think my only issue is the people that just drive around in the city with them turned on. I think it's stupid. And unfortunately, I think that's kind of what's going on here right now. Uh-oh, I think we've got... So I think some of you guys are sending these in just to mess with me because you know how I feel about them. But we've got the American flag on the side window here, which is already, my favorite. But this one, he really wants to show you that he is American AF because he's got the flag on the window and then he's also got a sticker on the driver's door here as well. So if ever there was a vehicle to not cut off in traffic, don't cut this guy off because he's probably got frickin' 15 machine guns in there and 10 trapped bald eagles in the hatch. And, I could have guessed that you're American by the... I don't know what brand of wheels those are with the laces out, with your white walls sticking out, your white letters. There's nothing wrong with your wheels, man. I'm just giving you a hard time. We got all the lighting going on here. Okay, whatever. Rear shot. Oh! We found another American flag, folks. These tires look super beefy from the front and back. Like that tread design is, I would imagine they're pretty loud on the highway, but they look pretty gnarly, and that's cool. The paint looks to be pretty trashed. And I can't quite get into my, or can I? Let me try. One sec. Yeah, I can't get at my detailing products right now, but I'm gonna let you in on a little tip here. If you do care about your paint, you wanna clean it up, get yourself a bottle of 3D Speed, get yourself an orange cutting pad for a dual action polisher. You can run through this whole truck in a matter of a couple of hours, and it's gonna bring so much shine and gloss out of that, it'll look incredible. And it'll cost you not too much money. If you care about your paint, you want it to look shiny and cool. Little pro tip for you there. Ah, crap, looks like the fender flare fell off. Yeah, I would recommend putting that back on. I don't know what's going on here. Are these light strips along the rockers? Instead of sliders to protect his rockers, he went to the movie theater and got the LED lights that are highlighting the aisle so you don't trip and fall and drop your popcorn. He's put those on there. That's a thing to do. Anyways, this thing looks pretty cool. There's a few things I'm not like a huge fan of. The white letters on the tires with the scuff marks on them, the LED rock sliders, some of the other stuff. But it does look like a decent base overall. I like the way it sits. I think the tires are actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. All right, next up we've got Kyle. And Kyle's got a silver, newer 4th gen. So right off the bat, I'm like, I like it. And guys, I'm not like huge on silver 4Runners. Something about this, it just makes me happy. I don't know what we're looking at here. I think this was maybe his most expensive upgrade, which is his trailer hitch shackle. Here he is with the dump truck. Oh, man, this looks pretty good. These wheels, I can't see what brand these wheels are. I feel like I know it. Are they Fuel? Are they KMC? I don't know. They got the fake bead locks, whatever. The spoke design, I don't know, man. It's not normally what I would want for myself. Like it wouldn't normally be my style, but something about this, whether it's the color and the tire size and the lift height, something about this as an overall picture is really working for me. Looks like he's wheeling here with a Jeep Wrangler, and I'm gonna guess by the amount of mud on the side of the Wrangler that the Jeep got stuck, had to call the 4Runner in to pull him out, and he finally was able to make use of that super high-end trailer hitch receiver. Okay, does this thing really only have 37,000 miles on it? If so, it scores even more points. He found himself a real nice low mileage one. Tire pressure monitor system light is on. I got you. I actually have a video on this channel showing how to disable that and turn it off. I'm assuming you're like me, you didn't put the sensors in your aftermarket wheels and tires, but it's super easy. You just jump two wires together, turn it off, and you never have to worry about it again. Inside, oh, another Caterpillar logo. You know it's not a diesel, right? Interior looks normal. It looks like he's upgraded his head unit, which is definitely a thing to do with these 4th gens, because that's one of their weakest links is they're just outdated in terms of tech, and it makes life a lot easier if you're daily driving one or something. I like it. I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. All right, now we've got Nate, and oh, okay, I like it already. I don't know if he either just takes really good care of this thing or we've spent some time cleaning it up, maybe. Because the paint looks pretty decent, the headlights look like brand new, the chrome on the grille looks like it's in really good condition. So yeah, I don't know if this is low mileage or just really well cared for, or if he's replaced a bunch of this stuff to kind of clean it up. But we've got the newer Method wheels on here, which I think one of the previous episodes somebody had a set of those on their 4Runner, and I really liked them then too, and here we go again. I like them now as well. But the setup looks conservative but functional, and I think, especially on the internet these days, it seems like everybody's going to 35s and huge suspension setups and all this stuff, and it's easy to get caught up in that, especially if you're surfing Instagram and it seems like everybody's doing this stuff with their 4Runners now, but realistically, this is all you need to be just like him, going out and enjoying nature and doing some exploring and having a great looking 4Runner without, doing some really heavy modifications to it. I think this is a really good example of how to set up a 4th gen. We got a close up of the Method wheels, and maybe a pet peeve of mine, turn your center cap to make it line up with the Method stamp on the wheel. These are Firestone mud tires. You don't see a whole lot of those actually, which is, it's cool to see something different instead of the usual. Oh, here, okay, he's got it all polished up here, and it looks really good. This looks like a really well cared for 4Runner, and it's cool to see it. It's cool to see a different color. Is this Salsa Red? I can't remember the name of this one. It's like a burgundy, but this looks like it has a good owner that really cares for it and is not afraid to take it out into the wilderness and beat it up and take it off-road and explore and stuff, but it looks like they're kind of like myself, where you use it for what it's meant for, but then when you come home, you clean it up and still, are proud of it and you take care of it. Overall, I think, oh, crap. Is that what I think? Okay, he's killed somebody. So I don't want to be an accomplice to this. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to give you an 8 out of 10, and I'm going to back out of this and pretend that I don't know anything. I'm not asking questions. You have yourself a great day, sir. Last but not least, we've got Smoke with an X. I think that was in his email address. I can't remember what the name was. I obviously wrote that down for some reason, so I found it somewhere. And we've got a 2nd gen here, which is great to see something other than a 4th gen for once. I don't know a whole lot about these earlier 4Runners, so I can't really tell exactly what's going on here. It's got like the typical rear squat that they all seem to have. I don't know if they left the factory like that, or if the springs were just known for sagging on these things over the years, because they are getting pretty old if you think about it now. But yeah, looks like a pretty simple setup with a good beefy tire on there. And we're moving on to 4th gen now. Okay, that's enough of the older ones. This thing looks cool. This looks really cool. So I have to say, I'm a big fan of polished wheels. I think, believe it or not, actually when I was shopping for the Methods for my 4Runner, I really wanted to get the standards in the polished finish. And what stopped me was I knew that I was going to be driving this thing in the winter here in Ontario, and the salt on the roads was just going to wreak havoc on those raw finished wheels. I think it's nice to see something different when everybody does black, everybody does bronze, and then polished, I think people were a little bit afraid of because they think that it's going to be confused with chrome, and nobody wants to have chrome wheels on their off-road vehicle, but I really like it. I think it's a really cool combination with this color. Okay, so the suspension setup, I'm not really sure what's going on here, but we're riding a little high in the front. This is a Toyota 4Runner in its natural habitat here at the gas station. I don't care if you got a V6, V8, whatever, none of them are good on gas. This is kind of a cool camera angle, I guess. It raises even more questions about the suspension setup on this thing. I don't know, I can't tell if it's sitting level or if it's the front end is sky high. I still don't really know. I'm gonna say he's maybe helping the last guy bury a body at nighttime or something, and they're under the freeway in the middle of the night. Yeah, it does look like it's sitting fairly level, I think, in the end. And actually, he's got a dirt bike on a rack behind it, so it must be sitting level, because that's some serious weight on the trailer hitch. It looks good. I think I can't quite make out what coilovers these are, but I like the setup. I think we're gonna do an 8 out of 10 on this one. And that was the last submission for today. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you on the next one, and try not to be too mad at me if I made fun of your 4Runner. Bye.